Welcome back, dudes! Time for another Tech Connect! So today we are going to be diving into the EMVI app, or is it EMVI, Cory? Any ideas?
Well, it really depends on how many of the letters are silent.
This is true. If they're all silent, then it's...
I thought you were miming it for a moment.
So anyway, however you want to say this app, it is available now on the Apple Store. That would be, what's that one called?
Well, they call that the App Store, yeah.
Thank you. And also available on the Google Play Store. Now, this is an AI app, and we have done various AI apps throughout the years, Cory. We have done Seeing AI. We have done Be My AI. We did Envision a long time ago.
Meta.
Was, changed. We've done the Meta glasses. Yeah. So the question is, Cory, what does this app do which is different to those ones? Well, you know, there's only one way to find out, and that's by getting Cory to do all the work while I sit here and relax. So let's jump into it. Check out the first feature, taking a picture and asking questions.
One of the things that sets EMVI apart from all the other AI apps is its simplicity. I would say the layout of the app is pretty basic, and I don't mean that in a bad way, just I think it's one thing that does set it apart. If you're looking for a more simple interface, then EMVI might be the option for you. Basically, you've got 4 buttons going across the bottom, although it's not all the way at the bottom where you would typically see tabs. It's up a little bit, which I thought was kind of an interesting reason. I don't know why they did that, but the 4 buttons or tabs across the bottom, you have, the first one is...
First one would be the camera.
Very good. First one is camera. Then we have OCR. Then we have scan, which is basically barcodes and QR codes. And then the last button is a microphone button where you can just kind of ask questions. So we will go through all 4 of them. First, we're going to start with the camera tab. So it really kind of is similar to some of the other AI apps where you could take a picture of maybe your surroundings and then it will give you a description. You have to ask a question about it. One of the things it says that its strengths is both describing people and then also artwork. So we're gonna do both of those today. We're gonna start out with taking a picture of Luke.
Yep.
We're gonna choose the camera option.
Camera shortcut button selected.
And when we choose that shortcut across the bottom, then kind of dead center is whatever button to kind of activate that mode. So in camera, we should find a take picture button.
Start taking a picture.
There we go. So I'm gonna take a picture of Luke and let's see what we get here.
3, cancel automatically taking a picture.
1. Photo captured.
Start asking your question.
So we heard a little countdown, 3, 2, 1, so we knew it was about to take the picture. And now what it's done is it's automatically switched to the 4th tab, the microphone tab, and it's ready for us to ask a question. So it does not just jump right into a description. Instead, it waits for you to give a question. So
that's actually a pretty good feature because oftentimes you don't really need the full description. You just have a specific question about the picture.
Yeah, I agree. I think depending on what you're doing, you know, that I can see it going both ways, but there is something nice about you dictating what info you want versus it starting to go on a long tangent.
Exactly.
So we're gonna say, let's ask what this person looks like.
Start asking your question. Finish your question.
What does this person look like?
Finish your question.
And
the man is wearing glasses and a gray sweater, with a small microphone clipped to his collar. His expression is playful as he sticks out his tongue, suggesting a humorous moment. The setting is an office with a wooden door, a large plant, and a flat screen monitor.
There you go. Well, I don't know how I appreciate you sticking your tongue out, especially at Jonathan like that, but you know, we'll have to live with it today. But pretty good description. I think it, did a great job. Picked up some cool details, including the microphone on your collar, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
One thing that this app doesn't have at this point is an ability to stop it from talking. So I can't interrupt it without either asking another question or maybe choosing one of the different tabs down at the bottom. So if the developers are watching this video, it'd be nice if there was a way, either by gesture or a button to stop it speaking. And that'll be even more relevant when we take picture of something that has a longer description.
which we're going to do right now.
We are. Let's take a picture of a piece of artwork.
Okay, and here we go. Because we are uncouth, we do not have any actual art. Instead, we just have a representation on my laptop screen.
Now remember, the app did switch over to the microphone tab, so I am gonna have to go back to the camera tab here.
Camera shortcut. Button selected.
There we go,
Camera shortcut.
and we will go for the button in the middle.
Start taking a picture. Button.
3,
Cancel automatically
2,
taking a picture.
1. Photo captured.
Start
How
asking
can I
your
help you
question.
with this
Button.
image?
All right, we're back to the microphone. We're on the button that says, how can I help you? We can ask a question, so let's go ahead.
Start asking your question.
Describe this picture to me.
Finish your question.
The image shows a laptop screen displaying a surreal painting by Salvador Dali. This artwork features a distorted face with melting clocks, reflecting Dali's unique style. The scene is vibrant and chaotic, with abstract forms and elongated limbs in bold colors like red, orange, and yellow, against a blue background. The overall atmosphere is dreamlike and unsettling, blending reality and fantasy. The laptop is a Dell model set in a brightly lit room, with reflections visible on the screen.
There we go. All right, that did a very good job. I'm not familiar with this picture, although maybe I lost my vision 35 years ago. Maybe I saw it as a kid, but it's not ringing any bells to me.
Yeah, I chose this one deliberately just because it's a very complex picture.
Okay.
And I think it did a pretty decent job.
was
It
gonna
didn't give
say-
us all of the details, but it gave us the general
Sure.
ambience.
If you were, to me, an example of this is, let's say you're at a museum, an art museum, you know, do you feel like it gave a pretty good representation of what that piece of art looks like? I mean,
I think it gave you the vibe. There's a lot of other things in there visually.
Sure.
But it definitely gave you the vibe, and I think it would give you, a feel for the type of picture that this is.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next tab, OCR. All right, we are moving on to our next tab, and that is labeled OCR. What do you think OCR stands for, Luke?
Well, traditionally it would stand for optical character recognition, Cory.
Okay, but you said traditionally, so does it mean something different here?
Well, I happen to know how this works.
I see where you're going. A little foreshadowing. All right, so OCR, in my opinion, I would assume that this is I'd be able to take a picture of a document and have it read back to me. That's kind of your traditional
Apparently,
OCR, as you're saying, right?
In 2025, Cory, OCR does not work like that.
Yeah, that is true, or at least AI-based. So let's find out, though, how EMVI handles. I've got a piece of paper here with some text. Let's see how it handles a kind of standard document. So we're going to choose the OCR option.
OCR shortcut. Button selected. OCR shortcut.
And just like the other tab, and I now have a button in the middle that's going to take the picture. One thing to note here, that EMVI does not give you any kind of lining up or alignment cues at all, so you just kind of have to do it on your own.
Start scanning a document. Button.
3,
Cancel automatically
2,
taking a picture.
1.
Okay, we got our picture.
Sorry,
Question.
the text provided seems to be heavily distorted and doesn't form coherent sentences or phrases. Could you please provide more context or clearer text for me to assist you better?
Now, I will say, Cory, this has been a repeated issue, and I have done this myself.
Yeah.
And I can visually see that the picture is in focus, that it's lined up correctly when I'm doing it, and it still comes back and tells me there's severe distortion.
So we're going to go back.
Start asking your question.
Back to the OCR mode,
OCR shortcut.
because
Selected.
again, it
OCR
switched us over to the microphone mode. And let's try one more. I'll get a little better,
Start
see if I can get a better
scanning
picture.
3,
Cancel automatically taking a picture.
1.
Try again.
Start asking your
The
question.
text appears to contain significant recognition errors and is difficult to interpret. If you could provide any additional
Okay.
context or a clearer version.
Let's try one more time.
Here's an attempt at correction with possible context. The Marians were able to enhance their power and influence through various strategic decisions and alliances. Please check for accuracy against your original
So
document.
let's stop this here.
Selected. OCR shortcut.
So for those that aren't able to see the screen, that may have saw it while I was taking the picture, this is the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner. So I have no idea what it was saying.
And I will say, Cory, observing you taking a picture of the document, Like, it looks completely correct what you're doing, so.
Well, what's very weird is I tested this before the video and it worked to a certain extent. Now I can't get anything. Let's try one more time. This time I'm gonna hold the document and just see if that makes any kind of difference.
Start scanning the document button.
I don't know why it would.
3.
Cancel automatically taking a picture.
1.
Okay, let's try that.
Start asking your question button.
No, it's taking longer. I don't know if that's good or bad.
EMVI.
The app just crashed.
Oh, it really does not like this piece of paper. All right, let's go back in and try.
Power EMVI.
All right, so let's try one more time. This time we're gonna bring the camera closer. Maybe we're too far away, things look a little blurry, although I've used tons of OCR apps before and I feel like the distance I was doing is pretty standard.
I would agree.
But let's give it another whirl. So we're gonna get a little closer. Now the problem with getting closer is that you're gonna have a much higher chance of cutting off edges because you're getting closer. So we're gonna try our best.
Start scanning the document button.
3.
Cancel automatically taking a picture.
1.
Let's see if that's any
Start
better.
asking your question
Fingers crossed.
button.
Here's a corrected and formatted version of the text, restyled as the lyrics of the United States national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, say can you see?
Okay,
The dawn's
so
early light, what so proudly we hailed in the twilight's last gleaming.
I'm gonna
Whose
stop
broad
that for a
striped
second.
Scan OCR.
Okay,
I feel like we should stand for salute.
yeah, that's a good point. So it worked. But what you'll notice, and this is pretty similar to any AI app, it's not reading the text verbatim. Instead, it's recognizing the text, seeing what it is, and then in this case, it wasn't exactly a summary because it started reading the lyrics, but there is stuff on the top that it didn't read. It said that it was the manuscript of Francis Scott.
I'm English. Don't look at me.
Dang it. Anywho, put it in the comments who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. But then there is something, if I remember too, about like the museum or something of Maryland.
Yeah, at the top of the page it says complete version of the Star-Spangled Banner showing spelling and punctuation from
Francis Scott Key Card. I'm just
Francis Scott Key's manuscript in the Maryland Historical Society collection.
So it didn't read any of that, but instead just sort of recognized that this was the Star-Spangled Banner and went right to reading it.
Yeah, and I would say I've tried this with a book before, and it kind of sounds as if it's reading the page from the book, but really it's just taking the words and just making its own version.
Yeah, some of the times it would change words into similar words, but not words that were on there. You also can't, like the camera mode, it does switch right over to the microphone where you can ask some follow-up questions. So, for example, if this was taking a picture of a bill, you could ask what the total was, or if it was a menu, you could ask what specific entrees or desserts, but you can't say read verbatim or read this document. So this version of EMVI AI does not allow you to read the document top to bottom. So if that's a feature you're looking for, you're not going to get it here, but you will get a summary of the document instead.
Cory,
Yes.
I'm hungry.
Okay.
Got anything to eat?
Let's move on to the next section and we'll scan some barcodes and see if we can find a little snack for Luke.
Yummy.
All right, time to move on to our third tab across the bottom. It sounds like you're already eating. Do you know what that was, or did you need our barcode scanning here to figure it out?
I know it's tasty, but I've never had such a scrumptious snack before, so you're gonna have to tell me what it is.
All right, we're gonna move on to the barcode scanning. This is the third tab across the bottom. This has basically allows you to do barcodes and QR codes. We're gonna show barcodes here today. I've got the tab chosen already. So we've got two products here. We're gonna give it a whirl. So we're gonna choose the button in the middle here.
Start scanning the code button.
And as soon as I double tap, it's gonna automatically start looking for the barcode. When we hear the little music that we've heard before today, then we know that it got the barcode.
Start scanning the code button.
Ooh, there you go.
Straight away.
Pretty
Start
much
asking your
instant,
question
yeah.
Button.
Nutella biscuits offer a delightful combination of crunchy biscuits filled with the classic taste of Nutella hazelnut spread.
Okay.
Each biscuit features a center of creamy Nutella.
Selected.
All right, we're gonna stop that for a moment.
Well, we have to say I've never heard of Nutella before.
Yeah, so this is put this down in the comments. Do you say Nutella or Nutella? Because it really is spelled Nutella, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is hazelnut. But everybody in the United States, at least, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but it appears that Nutella is the way it's kind of pronounced.
Well, maybe that's just the way that you and Jonathan say it. Who knows? Maybe everybody else in the world says Nutella.
Didn't the app just say Nutella as well?
It did actually, yeah.
So AI is the smartest thing ever, so it knows.
Okay.
So a couple things you've noticed that I find different from other barcode scanning. It didn't just read the product name. That's what I'm used to when we do a barcode. It just says, Nutella biscuits, 24 ounces, or something like that.
A quantity or weight or something. Yeah.
But instead, this seems to be reading the description of the product right off the bat. Now, in this case, that was fine because it said Nutella biscuit, so it worked out. But again, this is a good example of wanting that stop button, because I really just wanted to know the product. I didn't need to really know the whole marketing, paragraph about its rich, delectable taste.
Although it does have a rich, delectable taste.
It does. I just wanted to know the name. So a stop feature would be, quite nice.
Yeah, and it seems, Cory, like it's pulling this information from a shopping website of some sort.
It does appear to be more of like a retail type description. All right, let's try another product here. So we have touched the scan mode. We'll go in the center here.
Start scanning a code.
There we go.
Button.
Hopefully we hear music.
Button.
There it is, got it.
Start asking your question. Button.
Oat milk plain extra creamy is a rich and smooth plant-based beverage ideal for those seeking a dairy alternative. Crafted from a blend of water and whole grain oats, this drink is enriched with key nutrients.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here. And here's an example of what we just talked about a moment ago. So with the Nutella biscuits, it said Nutella biscuits are blah, 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 blah. This time it says oat milk. And so we know it's oat milk. Yeah. But it did not say anything about the brand. Now, I'm curious, we do have the ask question button here, so maybe it'll tell us the brand if we ask.
Start scanning a code.
No, we don't have an ask question
Shock
button.
and horror.
I lied to you. So unlike the other options that automatically take you into the microphone, the barcode scan doesn't. You can't
go
ask
into the microphone mode and ask it.
Well, no, but I think what we'd have to do is switch to the camera mode, take a picture, and then see if it would tell us the text that way. But from the barcode, it's not, which I find very interesting. Again, it appears to be reading the description rather than just giving you the product name. Now, again, some people might like the description, but really for me, when I'm scanning something, I just want to know what it is. I don't really care about the whole description. So in my opinion, although it's working, I just find it not to be exactly the way I would like it.
I agree.
And what I think is most important, put it down in the comments if you agree. All right, the last option is the microphone tab. Now, we've actually been in this option multiple times. Anytime you take a picture with the camera mode or with the OCR mode, it actually takes you right into this microphone mode, and that's what we use to ask a question. But you could use it to ask general questions as well. Now, we are going to test its knowledge here. We're going to ask it who the current President of the United States of America is. Because we did the Star Spangled Banner, we are very patriotic today. So let's see what it does. So we've got the Ask Question button right in the center.
Start asking your question. Button. Start asking your question.
Who is the current President of the United States of America?
Finish your question.
The current president of the United States is Joe Biden.
Wrong. Now, unless I am napping for the last 100 and some days, I do not believe that Joe Biden is the current president. Now,
maybe in our hearts and in our minds.
Maybe. Now, last time we did this, it said, according to my last update. Yes. Now, it didn't say it this time. So it does appear that it almost appears that the data it's getting, it can't be low. I mean,
the thing is with the large learning, the LLMs, the thing is with those is that they have a snapshot of all the contents of the internet at a particular point in time.
Yeah, I suppose. So remember, this is a new app. They are still adding updates. So hopefully in their next update, they'll put the actual president, unless it knows something and maybe Joe Biden's going to be president soon. I have no idea. But anywho.
Make a triumphant comeback.
Yes, I'm back. Come on, man. So anywho, just that is the microphone feature. You can ask some general questions, but take their answers with a grain of salt.
Salty. Okay, so that was the EMVI app. Cory, are we still envious after seeing the EMVI?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's very similar to a lot of the other AI apps, although it does have some quirks about it.
Yeah.
Again, as we said at the top of the video, though, I think its biggest distinguishing factor is that it's easy layout. I mean, I think
very much so.
compared to some of the other apps, it makes taking a picture very easy. It makes asking follow-up questions pretty easy. So I liked all of that stuff, but I think they do need to work on some of their accuracy, both on the OCR and not so much the barcode scan. The barcode scan's great, it's super fast, but I wish it would be a little bit more specific on the product that it's scanning.
Yeah, it really needs to give you the product name up front, and then it can give you other details after that.
A little nervous about the asking it general questions.
Yeah.
Although that I don't know that I'd really reach for EMVI for that anyways, but you would still want some.
But also, that's not an EMVI problem specifically. It's more an LLM problem in general.
Well, but if you're going to, if the developers are gonna choose to have an AI-based thing, you gotta make sure your data is up to date then.
Yeah, but I think
it
it probably costs so much to do an imprint that, it's not really practical to be doing it every day or anything like that.
Sure,
So.
that makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, Cory. I'm talking.
Yeah, go ahead, please. I wish you had a stop button, just like EMVI.
No. There are some additional features in the EMVI app which we haven't looked at, and those would allow us to do things such as, Cory, changing the speed of the voice.
Yeah.
We could turn on a dark mode if we preferred, if we were using the app visually and we preferred a dark background. And there's also a voiceover mode toggle button, Cory, which seems to do what?
Well, to me, what it appears to do is enhance the self-voicing of the app itself.
Yes.
So when you're switching between the different options, the different tabs, it actually speaks them out loud.
If it's engaged
If
or
it's
not.
turned off.
Correct.
If it's turned off. I had it going, I had it on during this demonstration, so you may have actually heard EMVI's voice and voiceover voice competing sometimes, and that was because I had the button turned on. So you can play around with it. To be honest though, besides a little more talking from the EMVI voice, I didn't see any other difference. There's no extra gestures that are turned on, not that I could find at least.
No, it doesn't seem to do a huge lot, but if you want to play around with it, you can. And that, Cory, in a nutshell, is the EMVI app. Current pricing as of release of this video. What?
In a Nutella shell?
In a Nutella shell.
All right, go ahead.
At the time of release, the price on the app is $4.99 if you want to pay monthly. If you want to pay for a year, it's $59.99. And if you want a lifetime subscription, then that would be $200. And there are free options, so I think you would want to carefully consider whether the price of this app gives you the value for money, and the main value I think would come in its simplicity.
Yeah, and it does offer a 14-day free trial, so you can download the app and at least give it a shot for yourself and make that decision. But you're right, there are free options out there. But I always think it's fun to add tools to your toolbox and see which one. Don't blame the. Wait, what did you just say a little bit ago?
I said, don't
blame the worker?
the tool. Oh. I can't remember what I said.
Okay, anyways, never mind. We'll edit that out so you can ignore that piece. We've got a lot going on.
Wait, I just remembered.
Yes.
A good workman never blames his tools.
That is very true. Man, wiser words haven't been spoken here on Tech Connect before.
That is actually true. They haven't been. Wiser words haven't been spoken on Tech Connect.
If you want to hear more of the wiser words that we've got a lot going on. First of all, though, before we tease all the fun things we have going on, we have a favor to ask you. Yes, you. I'm speaking right at you, Bill. Bill, I need your help. Please hit that subscribe button. I've seen how many of our videos you've watched, Bill, and you haven't once hit that subscribe button, and that makes us very unhappy. Well, Bill knows who he's talking about. If you know, you know. Also, hit that like button. It really does help, and share the channel.
And by the way, we have a lot of other exciting content that you can check out, such as, for example, our learning management system. This is a professional website that you can go to. You can get on-demand ACVREP credits just by watching a few entertaining webinars and answering some simple questions. So why not go and check that out, Cory? The URL would be
techconnect.vision-forward.org.
That's right. Would you like to repeat that?
techconnect.vision-forward.org.
For some reason, I felt like you wanted to repeat it. I don't know.
Usually I always do. Say twice,
right.
I think that's why.
We also have, of course, a podcast version of our live show. That's right, we have a live show. And if you haven't seen it, well, you are really missing out. The live show
That's you, Bill. We're talking about you again. You're missing out.
The live show is every other week, and we have it on a Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. Tune in to our YouTube channel and check it out. If you are watching this video on its release day, then our next live show will be a week after this. So why not go ahead and check out that live show, and you can get a podcast version from your favorite podcatcher. Just search for Vision Forward Tech Connect.
We would love for you to put down in your comments some videos. We have some ideas kicking around. We're looking at the Odyssey from Humanware.
Yep.
They've got a new AI feature that we are going to check out. That's right, more AI. Ooh. Buckle up. We also have the Revo 3, which I know has been out for a pretty long time. And we also have the Hable Easy. Now we will be, by the time this video drops, we would have already done a live show with Freak Van...
Wellens?
Yeah, I think so, that's right. From Hable, talking about the Hable Easy. So if you see this, go back and check that out if you hadn't, because it will be really exciting, I can tell you right now.
I'm excited. And with that, it is time for us to depart. Thank you to EMVI. Thank you to Nutella. Thank you to Jonathan for editing video. And thank you to you, Cory, as well.
What? I'm eating.
Looks like it's time for supper.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great week.